All right, welcome back to Spaceship Frost. It is, what time is it? 6:17 in the morning. I'm heading to work. Thought this experiment with this. This is pre-daylight savings. Wait, is daylight savings what we have in the summer or what we... I don't know. It's before the clocks go forward. Spring ahead, fall back. This might be a more usable spot come a week from now, but for today it's a little bit... does that help? Kind of. Today it's a little moody. It is really cool. You can't see it from here, but there's a really cool crescent moon. This is a park that's most of the way to my job, to the school where I teach, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to running here again. There's lots of great trails, but it is traditionally terrible when all the snow is first melting because they all just turn to mush. You runners out there who have done trail running know what I'm talking about. It is not fun. But we're not here to talk about trail running. We're here to talk about poems for board games. And with that, Jimbo, how about a quirky fantasy vibe? That will do for today. All right, the game is Century Golem Edition, or as my wife and I refer to it, the Golem Game. We'll talk more about it later, but I'm not going to hold off on the poem. From yellow we upgrade to green or to blue, or maybe to pink if the cars will let you. From pink we can downshift to more blues and greens, or a mixture of both from myriad means. Maybe your engine just ramps up to blue, and you've got a few options to choose what to do. Maybe your cards fill your... Still waking up. Maybe your cards fill your cart with cheap yellow to snag a great card before any of your fellows. Maybe you just take the cards that are free and your engine is wild and varied. We'll see. Maybe your engine is brittle but sly. Produce lots of great stuff, but run out and you'll die. For the golems are needed for all of our jobs, so we need you to make them with your bits and your bobs. And the ways you procure all the gems that you need are as varied as you are. Unique indeed. Woo! That was a smooth read through. I've drank this cup of coffee that I put an ice cube in so I can drink it on the way to school, but this bad boy, which I don't drink nearly as fast now that I'm teaching with 2 masks and a face shield. Gosh. So Century Golem Edition is a very simple premise if you haven't played it, but it's a super fun game. My wife and I have a couple games that fall in this category. Ones that we really love this is not like a sneaky dig by any sort, but there are games that at the end of like a long day that we can just sort of like zen out and play like almost without talking, and just to we want to get a game in. We obviously love being around each other, but we don't want to dive like super deep into something where we're gonna have to be like referring to the rules a whole bunch, but still gives us a lot of like tactical decision making. Maybe not like long-term strategy, but very tactical in the here and now. And it completely fits the bill. It's just so simple. Your actions are so few. But the way the market comes out being so varied, and the golems, because at the end of, I mean, a 2-player game, we get through maybe a quarter to a third of the golems, somewhere in there. And in terms of the market cards, probably the same, maybe a quarter, right around that. And obviously the more players you get through, more, but it still means that no matter what the player count, your personal like grip of options is going to be very different from most games. And this is something that I appreciate in like Lords of Waterdeep, where sometimes like the first building someone makes, whoa, a corvid just came down out of a tree. I don't know anything I don't know the difference between Blackbird or oh, another Corvette. Get out of here! I'm making a video. So I like if the first building in Lords of Waterdeep is the one where you just go and you get 2 of whatever color you want. You're like, buckle up, team. This is going to be a wild ride. And that's sort of how this game is too. And it really kind of like the flop at the beginning of the game, how that initial lineup comes up, especially, you know, which one is at the free spot. But that's, to me, part of the like beauty of the game is that it's not, you know, symmetric. Like not all the edges have been sanded down to the point where all the cards are the same power. That's the really cool part. There are times you might not go into it thinking of making it, but you might have an engine that like shoots up to pink, and then you have 3 different cards. Like for 2 pink, you can make these things. For 1 pink, you can make these things. And for a different 1 pink, you can make these other things. And so you play the game just like doing that thing, whether it's like building up green, building up blue, a ton of yellow, getting a couple of pinks, and then having some options to do with them. And it's such a cool system. And to compare, you know, afterwards what you were doing with the other player. It's funny because how I play the game, sound off below if you're like me, or like my wife. Here are the 2 ways that we hold our hands. For me, I have the cards that just make a crystal. You know, you start with the 1 2 yellow, but then they're like, make a blue, make a pink. You don't have to trade, just, you know, magics it into your card. Those are at the front. If I'm looking from like frontmost to back, those are the frontmost cards. The next ones are cards that trade yellow into something, then cards that trade green, cards that trade blue into something, pink, and then the upgrade card. And if I'm lucky enough, the triple upgrade card, that goes at the back too. That's how I organize my cards. And so that way, if I'm like, okay, I have, you know, a handful of blue, here are my 2 blue options, or, you know, I can fan to it. And my wife's hand of the cards is just like, whatever order I picked them up, that's what's in my hand. And it's wild. Like, I mean, we are super close. I can't remember the stats, so I'm going to put them on screen somehow here. We're super close. And it's just like 2 polar opposite ways of how to hold the cards in your hand. It just makes me laugh. But we also just recently got the 2 bonus card packs, which it's really cool to me when board games are like, here's a bonus card pack. It's 3 cards. It's wild and going to have an impact on your game. And it's totally true. Like, a couple of them are like an upgrade a card and upgrade a gem and make a gem. It's like bloop, put them together. Upgrade 1, make 1. Oh, squirrel's coming over. Hey, bud. I don't have anything. There are a couple just like options, like you know, trading cards that they just didn't have before. But then there are these 2 cards. I think they're like trade a gem and pick up 1 card. So it's sort of like if you played Spirit Island, how you have the reclaim your whole hand cards or powers, but you have some spirits that have the reclaim 1 card, and you can just like, as a hand that's like this, and you can just pick 1 up of your powers that you've used. It's like that, but with Golem Game. Those have not come out yet. We played 2 games with the new bonus cards, and they have not shown their face. The upgrade and make a gem one has, and it was awesome. But so we're very excited. We haven't played either of the other games, the second or the third. I don't think the second one, it doesn't sound like too much like something we would enjoy, but the third one very much sounds like something, because we love worker placement games, and from my understanding there is an amount of that, and it's still like the artwork is still the gems, it's still in that world, and you can combine them. So who knows, we might, I think that something about Endless Wonders, future Kyle will check me on that. So yeah, I love it. We have given it to 2 different people now as gifts. My wife and I, it started off as a joke, but it is very true that board games are our love language, and we really enjoy being able to give gifts that we think, like of a board game, to people who we think would super appreciate it. And this game, I think, has a wide audience of people who would enjoy it, and is just delightful. It's just one of our favorites. I'll put the stats somewhere on here, but it has to rank pretty darn high. It was like, I think 5th or 6th or something like that on our most played games, you know, in the past 3 years that I've been tracking when I made a little book for Valentine's Day. But it must be even higher now, because I think we played it 2 or 3 times since then. So anyways, thanks for stopping by. I bet it maybe looks a little bit different than it did when I started. I'm just going to turn the camera around and show you real quick what I'm looking at. So that's kind of the little lake you got going on. I love when there's a contrail up there when the sun is rising. It just turns it into this like bright beam. That's all I got. So I'll probably be filming the next one when I'm driving down to drill with the guard, and so we'll see what rest stop or what little state park or whatever captures my attention, and I'll see you right here then. Thanks for stopping by. I've been Kyle Frost. You've been a great audience. Enjoy board games and poetry and the fact that it's spring. Woohoo! See you, everybody.